Hello, Miami University and all Oxford community. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Pearl, your co-host for tonight's show. Welcome back to Miami Television News.
Each year, the Miami University Lecture Series brings in about 3 or 4 special guests. The first one of the semester is Dan Povenmire, an animator, creator, and much more known for creating Phineas and Ferb. MTN members Mackenzie Knorr and Abby Rainier got the opportunity to interview Povenmire and learn more about his experiences.
Is there anyone in your life that stands out to you who has inspired you to embrace your imaginative ideas and creativity?
Well, I was very lucky to have parents that saw at an early age that I could really draw, and thought of that as something that I could do for a living. Because a lot of my friends in animation, a lot of them, like, their parents disowned them, wouldn't pay for college if they were going to an art school and stuff, and they really had to fight against their parents' belief that that wasn't a real thing that they would be able to do in order to get a career. And my parents were very inspiring to me about it. And I think my dad had drawn when he was young, but had never been really encouraged to do it. And so he was like, I think you could do this. I think you could do whatever you want for a living. So that really helped.
Awesome. So what has been a challenge you've had to overcome in your television career that you didn't necessarily anticipate happening?
Wow. I don't know that. I think the biggest challenge is just getting that first job, because I went to USC and I went to the film school there, and one of the things you learn almost immediately is that there's no path to employment. It's like if you go to law school, you know that you're going to graduate and then you're going to get a job somewhere and then you're going to work there because you have a diploma. None of that mattered in the film industry. It's really just sort of, and you find out very early on it's who you know. And weirdly, I got my first gig in animation because I didn't know anybody where I was going to be, which is like, I brought my portfolio to the Ninja Turtles because they were looking for a storyboard cleanup artist. And my portfolio, I now realize looking back on it, was not really a good animation portfolio. It was like, you could tell that I could draw, but I never had any animation experience really, and it was a thing where he was like looking through and he found one thing that was a really clean line. He's like, okay, I think maybe you could do that, because I'd never worked for anybody before in the industry, he was like hemming and hawing, and I said, I'm about to get on a plane this afternoon and go and house sit my parents' house and watch my baby sister, while they're out of town, and I don't know anybody in that town, so I won't be going out, I won't be socializing with anybody. I will have all day for like 2 weeks to do this storyboard for you. And he said, oh, okay, I'll give you a shot. And then I did it, and then he just gave me work for like a year after that. Just every week I'd get it.
Now, there's one more thing we have to ask before wrapping up, and that is, would you be willing to say Perry the Platypus in your Dr. Doofenshmirtz voice? I think the audience and ourselves would really appreciate it.
Well, what I usually say is, a platypus? Perry the Platypus, because I don't recognize him unless he has his hat on.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I know. Inner child healed. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you to our viewers. Be on the lookout for more MTN content, and be sure to attend Dan's lecture this evening.
This Saturday, a comedian and co-host of Saturday Night Live, Colin Jost, will be coming to Miami University. It will be held in Millett Hall at 8:30 p.m. Be sure to get tickets if you haven't already, and follow Miami Activities and Programming, also known as MAP, to learn more and stay updated.
With changes in the menu coming to campus with the switch to a new food provider, many students are hanging on to their favorites. Since the beginning of the semester, Polly's has a new look to their menu. The biggest change, the toasted roll is missing. After talking with the staff, we found out why the toasted roll was meant to move locations, but has not found its home at this time. So if you are craving a Miami University classic, you're out of luck until the head chefs decide where the roll will be served.
This week, This week, Miami University fraternities and sororities have been participating in Greek Week. Greek Week is all about sorority and fraternity members showing pride for their chapter, as well as giving members an opportunity to give back to the community through friendly games and competitions. Speaking of competitions, let's hear from Stephen Pepper with Red Hawk Sports Update.
It's great to be back in studio to update everyone on all things Red Hawk sports. We began on the gridiron. What a start to 2023 it's been for the football team. The Red Hawks launched Mid-American Conference play with a 23-3 victory at Kent State. With the win, the Hawks advanced to 4-1, a record the program has not seen since Ben Roethlisberger was under center in 2003. So, how did the Red Hawks get it done in Kent? The defense had the Golden Flashes on lock. The Flashes did take a quick 3-0 lead on their opening drive, but that was about it for them. Each of their ensuing drives would either end in a punt or a turnover on downs. The Red Hawks defense limited the Golden Flashes to just 206 total yards of offense, including 36 rushing yards on 35 attempts. Red Hawks quarterback Brett Gabbert outgained the Flashes himself. Gabbert threw for 216 yards and a touchdown. He connected to receiver Joe Wilkins Jr. for some big plays throughout the game. Wilkins Jr. has cemented himself as Gabbert's favorite target in place of injured receiver Gabe Larvidan. Wilkins Jr. finished the day with 3 catches for 110 yards. The Red Hawks look to extend their winning streak to 5 as they host Bowling Green this Saturday, October 7th at 3:30 p.m. You can catch the game on ESPN Plus or come bring your mom and dad over to Yager Stadium during family weekend. But not every Miami team celebrated the weekend with a win. The field hockey squad fell in a tough match to number 6 ranked University of Virginia 2-0. The Cavaliers scored with 7 minutes remaining in the first on a penalty corner. The score remained 1-0 into the fourth quarter. We can thank Red Hawk goalkeeper Isabella Parisi for that with a huge save in the third quarter. However, the Cavaliers put the game away with a penalty corner in the fourth. The Red Hawks now sit at 8-5 on the year. The team is back Friday, October 6th at Ohio University at 12 p.m. Back to you, Pearl.
Thanks, Stephen. Speaking of sports, Miami Activities and Programming hosted a glow run on the late hours of September 28th. Students were decked out in glow sticks and face paint as they ran at Cook Field. This event was a great way for students to relieve some stress before midterm season.
A new artist shop has opened in Uptown. The College Artisan Shop is owned by Julian Bradley and Genevieve Gerens, both second-year Miami students. Julian is studying finance and Genevieve is studying chemistry and environmental engineering. They want to create a shop for Miami student artists to sell their creations. Make sure to swing by and support your local student artists. If you visit the shop, make sure to post on Instagram and tag @theCAShop and @MiamiMTN.
Last week, Miami Television News sat down with Happy Captive Editor-in-Chief Abby Elizondo to learn more about what goes into producing and contributing to the magazine.
Happy Captive means you're happily captivated with the pieces that Miami students submit to us and that we publish. So we want everyone to be captivated by anything that interests them: art, photography, prose, something that catches your attention and you just can't look away. We have many artistic forms that people end up submitting. We've gotten our traditional fiction and short story route. We've also gotten many cool forms of poetry, sometimes in different shapes. Sometimes they're long form poems that take up multiple pages and tell a really in-depth story. Otherwise, we'll get beautiful edited photos, we get paintings, digital art, sometimes even photos of 3D art, so a bit of a mix there. But we've gotten many different types of submissions, and we encourage students to continue submitting all those in-depth types of submissions. I've grown a lot throughout my experience with Happy Captive. I've met so many amazing students, either on staff or people that have submitted. We always have a release party at the end of the year where we get to actually meet the people who decided to submit and publish their work, and that is always such a rewarding experience. They're so thankful and so kind to us since we published their work, and we want to show students how fabulous their talents are. And especially as the EIC, or editor-in-chief of the magazine this year, I want to continue growing and leading everyone to continue our magazine.
On September 22nd, the annual Having Her Center for Russian and Post-Soviet Studies welcomed Svitlana, a political activist for democracy in her home country, Belarus. She has been exiled out of Belarus after President Alexander Lukashenko claimed himself victor against Svitlana in Belarus's 2020 presidential election. Svitlana gave empowering words to Miami students as she hopes they will grow to be leaders of change against injustice.
Thank you for tuning in. We will be back on October 25th with more campus and community news. Until then, I'm Pearl.
And I'm Andrew. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Miami MTN.